Hey guys, and welcome to today's video. Today, we have the return of the infamous sovereign citizen painter, Don Mag Koo, as he appears before Judge Simpson for his preliminary hearing. The final stop before his case gets shipped off to the circuit court to face Judge Slay. Now, if you're not familiar with how Michigan handles felony cases, here's the quick version. The lower district court deals with the early stages. And this hearing is the defendant's one chance to convince a judge that the case should be thrown out. Spoiler alert, that's not going to happen. But before we get into the chaos that Dan is about to create for himself, I want to tell you about today's sponsor. Chapter. It's no secret that my audience skews a bit more seasoned than your typical YouTube crowd, and I genuinely care about you all. So if you or someone you love is on Medicare, you're going to want to pay attention. Recently, the Department of Justice filed a massive fraud complaint against 3 of the biggest Medicare brokers in the country. According to the DOJ, these companies weren't helping seniors find the plans that fit them best. They were helping seniors find the plans that paid them the most. That's why I recommend calling Chapter. Their founders started the company because their own parents were taken advantage of by this very system. And they decided enough was enough. They're fully independent, meaning they work for you, not big insurance. And they're the only national advisors who search every Medicare plan available to make sure you get the one that actually fits your needs. There's no pressure, no shady steering, no nonsense. Just real, honest guidance. And the best part? It's completely free. So if you or someone close to you is dealing with Medicare, and you want a real human being to walk you through your options, call Chapter at the number on the screen or click the link in the description. They save the average senior over $1,000 a year, and they're an incredible resource for my audience. Thank you again to Chapter not just for sponsoring this video, but for helping out the people who matter most in our lives.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Alex Lauren Green on behalf of Mr. Magoo. Thank you. Mr. Magoo, can you stay?
Daniel Magoo.
Thank you.
Your Honor, the defense is ready to proceed to examination in each matter. I'd ask for a sequestration order.
I anticipate one witness in each case.
All right.
So it should be over.
All right. Witnesses are ordered sequestered for what that matter.
Actually, Your Honor, I have
you may have. Yes.
I have an issue. I have been requesting the last time I was here, requested that the prosecution provide explanation for the undue delay.
Your Honor, my advice to Mr. Magoo is that I'd be handling the examination today. So just for purposes of the record, I'm advising you not to make any statements on the record of this. Well, I do actually also want to provide notice that this case is being removed under 28 U.S.C. 1455 to the Eastern District of Michigan under case number 25-12440, and due to the due process violations that I've been facing.
I don't know what you're talking about. The case has been removed.
I'm sorry. I'm providing notice of.
Well, you can file all the notices, declarations, and magical paperwork you want, but none of it means a thing until Judge Simpson receives an actual order from a higher court, telling him he no longer has jurisdiction over your case. And let's be honest, you and I both know that no such order is coming. You don't get to walk into a courtroom, wave around homemade documents stamped with buzzwords you found in a conspiracy forum, and expect the judge to just hand over control like you're returning a library book. That's not how the judicial system works, and it never has. Until an appellate court, the state Supreme Court, or some other authority with actual legal standing says otherwise, Judge Simpson remains firmly in charge. You can stomp your feet, rewrite the alphabet, or recite every pseudo-legal phrase you've memorized in the mirror. But the reality stays the same. The court maintains jurisdiction, and your paperwork isn't going to magically rewrite the law.
12-12440.
Have you talked that over with your attorney?
I let him know.
Your Honor, and my advice was I'm not going to be joining in any collateral motions or actions, and that I would address the case.
Are you aware of any motion that seeks to take this case to federal court? I'm not sure how that would even happen.
Right, Your Honor. And Mr. Magoo told me that he has been seeking that action, but I informed him that I am not a member of the federal bar and that I would not be joining him in any of those actions.
Just providing notice.
Okay, I don't know what the notice does, but I'm not, if I don't have something in writing indicating some procedural aspect to it or anything along those lines, the court's not.
Can I give this to you now?
I would advise against.
I don't even know what is,
Notice of removal pursuant to 28 U.S.C. 1455, criminal.
what does that statute read?
The criminal proceedings removed to federal court under federal questions involved in this case.
I'm not gonna a bite as to what federal questions, because I don't think there are any federal questions.
What's the member violation?
Which adequately a state court could handle if that were an issue. So I don't think there's any need for the court to even deal with that. I don't know that anything's been filed with the federal court regarding that or anything
It's
else.
filed under case number 25-12440. Eastern District of Michigan.
Are we ready to proceed?
Defense is ready to proceed, Your Honor.
People ready to proceed?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Which case would you?
We were talking over each other, I apologize. If it pleases the court, could we start with the OWI matter?
That being 0523.
I believe that's correct. Yes.
That's fine. Start with that one.
Thank you. A couple of housekeeping matters. The court is in receipt of the amended complaint, which is just typing correctly as a felony form, is that correct?
I do have an amended information. I do.
Excellent. And, Your Honor, I do believe defense is stipulating that the defendant has 3 prior OWI convictions.
So stipulated, Your Honor.
So there's a step to the priors.
There it is, Your Honor.
All right. Anything else?
I do think defense is going to stipulate to people's exhibits 1 through 10, which are photos, but maybe not.
Your Honor, I did have an opportunity to review those and we would so stipulate.
And then people's exhibit 11 is a laboratory report. I'm not sure if there'll be a stipulation to that as well.
We would so stipulate.
I'm sorry?
So stipulated, Your Honor.
Okay, so exhibits 1 through 11 are stipulated to.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Therefore admitted.
Thank you. I do expect that the officer in charge of the other matter will probably be informed at some point if sequestration order is otherwise enacted and followed. So I will call Paul Corey to the stand.
All right, please come forward.
All right. So the first person we're going to hear from today is the officer who responded to the original 911 call about a single vehicle crash into a pole at a mobile gas station. What should have been a routine checka, simple accident report, maybe a citation, and everyone goes home quickly turned into something a whole lot stranger. The officer had no idea that when he pulled up expecting to find a dazed driver and a dented bumper, he was actually stepping into the opening chapter of a full-blown fiasco. What started as a standard crash investigation would soon unravel into a chaotic foot chase, a desperate attempt to flee the scene, and ultimately the kind of mess that only a sovereign citizen in full meltdown mode can create. The poor officer thought he was just handling paperwork. He didn't realize he was about to witness an escape attempt worthy of a low-budget action. Movie doc.
The 27th, 2024.
I was
Do you recall what shift you were working that day?
up in my shift 6 p.m. to 6 a.m.
And were you ever at the location of Dexter Street and Arcona Road?
I was.
About what time were you at that location?
About 1:35, or when I was dispatched there.
Why were you dispatched there?
The 911 caller had said that there was a single car crash into a gas station in that area.
Did the 911 caller, did you have any other information in your dispatch when you were headed that way?
Objection, Your Honor, calls for hearsay.
Your Honor, it's not being offered to prove the truth of the matter asserted. It's being offered to prove why he was headed to that location and other additional information that may have hastened his speed going that way.
All right, I will overrule the objection regarding hearsay. I'll accept it for what it's offered for, other than the truth of the matter.
Thank you. Did you have any other information from the dispatch?
I do believe that the caller said that there was a single subject walking around outside of the car and possibly injured.
When you arrived, what did you observe?
A car that was, I saw a SUV that appeared to have been crashed into a sign outside the gas station here. Dexter, and there was a single male subject standing around the passenger side of the vehicle.
What did you notice about the vehicle first?
It was definitely crashed there and not parked. There was some extensive front end damage.
Officer Corey, you took some photographs that evening.
Yes,
Did you take a photograph of the vehicle as you found it?
I did.
Actually, more than one, would that be fair to say? All right. And when you saw the vehicle, how did you determine that it had been crashed as opposed to just parked there?
Due to the amount of front end damage that it had, and it was still in contact with the signage there.
Did you make any observations about any other parts of the vehicle?
There was the windshield was smashed in a particular fashion.
And
It
go ahead.
appeared that it was impacted from the inside rather than the outside.
How could you tell that it was impacted from the inside rather than the outside?
It was falling outward instead of inward, and there was no like gouging from the outside of the windshield.
And when you were looking at the windshield, would you describe the cracking in any particular way?
In a circular fashion. It's brought off the driver's seat.
Did you look inside of the vehicle?
Yes.
Where did you observe about the inside of the vehicle?
There was quite a bit of personal property inside of the vehicle, and the passenger and all of the front and rear passenger seats, indicating that there was probably only one occupant at the time of the crash.
Did you look at the windshield?
Yes.
What did you observe about the windshield?
What stood out about the windshield was there was a clump of human hair attached to the cracks in the impact area on the inside of the windshield.
How would you characterize the color of the hair that you saw?
Light brown, maybe dark blonde.
Did you make contact with any people at that location?
Yes, there was a male subject standing near the passenger side of the vehicle when I arrived.
Do you see that person in the courtroom today? Can you tell me where that person is sitting and what they are wearing?
Seated at the defense table wearing the green jumpsuit.
Your Honor, may the record reflect that witnesses identified the defendant?
No objection, Your Honor.
Record shall so reflect.
And sir, when you made contact with the defendant, what did you talk with him about, or what did he do?
I asked him what had happened.
What did he say?
He said I wasn't here.
That I wasn't here. Yeah, that's a pretty standard line straight out of the Sovereign Citizen Fantasy Handbook. These people treat reality like it's optional, like they can just declare themselves invisible, untouchable, or operating on some imaginary higher plane of existence where laws only apply if they feel like they should. It's the same tired routine every time. Deny being present. Deny being the person named in the charges. Deny the court's jurisdiction. Deny the existence of basic facts. And then stare everyone down like they just dropped some galaxy brain legal revelation. Meanwhile, the rest of us are over here living in the real world where words actually mean things and showing. Up to court doesn't magically erase the fact that, well, you're in court. But sovereign citizens cling to these delusions like it's their emotional support fantasy. All while the judge, the officers, and everyone watching have to pretend not to be amazed at how far someone can drift from reality while still managing to breathe.
Or some type of injury. There was a lot of blood. It was kind of where it all was coming from. It appeared it was bleeding from the top of the head.
Did you notice anything about his clothing?
It was disheveled. Yeah, there was blood on it. Front zipper was down. The zipper was down on his pants.
Did you look at the color of his hair?
Yes.
Based on your observations, did that appear consistent with the color of the hair in the glass inside the car? What happened next?
He maintained that he was not driving the vehicle. He could smell the odor of intoxicants coming from him. We called for medical assistance just based on his injuries. And so while they were on the way, asked if he would take a preliminary breath test, which he agreed to.
Without getting into the results of the preliminary breath test, did you make a determination about what had happened that evening?
It appeared on his face that he was driving the vehicle and it got into a crash. And he may have been intoxicated while he was doing it.
Did you place him under arrest for OWI?
Not at that time.
When did you place him under arrest for OWI?
After the ambulance came, it was determined he was going to go to the hospital while he was receiving medical treatment, and I read him his chemical test rights. I advised him at that point that he was under arrest.
Did he agree to take a test?
No.
What happened?
He refused to take a test. Poor judgment on my part. I did not have him restrained in the hospital bed. Well, I left I believe that his injuries were significant enough that he was not going anywhere. I went out to my car to start preparing a search warrant for his blood, at which point a nurse came out and told me that he had fled the hospital.
Did you find him?
With some assistance from Washington County Sheriff's Office, yes, I did.
Where did you find him?
An apartment complex just south of the hospital.
Were you able to take him back to the hospital?
Yes.
And did you complete your search warrant?
Yes.
Was it executed?
I just a note from the court, Sergeant Crusadis, helped me prepare the search warrant while I was dealing with Mr. McCune's hospital. However, I did review, since I was going to the warrant, I did review it to make sure it was accurate based on my observations at the time of the incident.
Did he make I'm sorry, go ahead. No, I'm so sorry to interrupt you, sir. While you were waiting to do the blood draw, did he make any statements to you?
He looked at my uniform and appeared to be confused as to why he questioned me as to why Milan, the city of Milan, was doing all of this. And
what did you say to him?
Asked him where he thought he was, and I said that he was insane. He thought he was insane.
Did you ask him to perform standardized field sobriety tests?
I did not.
Why not?
Mainly due to his injuries, and even though he did comply with the request for a PBT, he was generally uncooperative with most things that we were trying to get him to do, or asking questions about what had happened. Then based on the extent of his injuries, we were more concerned about getting the medical attention at that point.
In your training and experience with administering standardized field sobriety tests with people who've been in traffic crashes that have injuries, is there any guidance that you've received from NHTSA on that?
It can be, especially with what was clearly a head injury that was sustained in a vehicle crash, it could have impacted the results of the standardized field sobriety tests.
Your Honor, may I approach with People's Exhibit 11, the laboratory report?
You may.
And Officer Corey, you did receive a laboratory report back in this case? And do you recall what the VAC was?
I have nothing further at this time. And honestly, I've got to say it. This defense attorney is putting in more effort, strategy, and coherent argumentation than any sovereign citizen has managed in the entire history of their YouTube-fueled legal delusion movement. The man is basically trying to build a life raft out of toothpicks while his client is drilling holes into the bottom of the boat. And somehow, he's still keeping the thing afloat. It's almost impressive. He's doing everything a real lawyer should, challenging the testimony, poking at weak points, presenting alternative interpretations, while his client is probably sitting there trying to manifest jurisdictional immunity through sheer concentration. If sovereign citizens argued like this, instead of reciting word salad about strawman and admiralty law, judges might actually take them seriously for 3 consecutive seconds. But no, it takes an actual trained attorney to defend a guy who is so obviously guilty that the audience can practically smell the conviction from here. And credit where credit is due, this lawyer is at least giving the illusion that his client stands a fighting chance even if we all know how this story ends.
Or what was done with the vehicle? Let me ask that. Do you know what happened with the license plate?
We confiscated the plate, as the operator at the time, who we believed to be Mr. Magoo, had several prior convictions for suspension and operating while intoxicated, requiring a plate confiscation.
Pursuant to state law, you had to take it. And may I have a moment?
Me. I do have one question. How much time elapsed between the time you were notified that he had left the hospital and when he was located? Do you know?
I believe it was about 40 minutes, Your Honor.
40 minutes?
40, yes, Your Honor.
Okay. All right.
And Your Honor, I would pass the witness.
All right. Cross-examination.
Thank you, Your Honor. May I inquire? Afternoon, officer. My name is Alex Warren Green. I represent Mr. Magoo in this case. So you're dispatched for a single vehicle accident, right?
Right.
And that's at a mobile gas station, and it appears there was an accident from an SUV into the sign, the mobile sign, right?
Right.
And like you testified on direct examination, there was a 911 call placed, and that person didn't provide a name, did they?
They may have. It's something that I didn't end up following up on.
So you never talked to the caller, did you?
Not directly, no.
And are you aware if anyone talked to that caller?
I am not aware that anyone did.
So as soon as you get there, Mr. Magoo is on the passenger side of the vehicle, right?
Standing outside. It's on the passenger side.
Okay. And that car was not registered to Mr. Magoo, was it?
Correct. It was not.
And like you testified on direct examination, he had a wound to his head, right?
Yes.
It's bleeding pretty bad.
Yes.
There was an injury to the front and back of his head, right?
There's photographs of an injury to the back of his head, yes.
Okay.
And the front.
And he appeared to be dazed.
Yes, it was difficult to say if he was out of it due to the head injury or his level of intoxication, maybe a bit of both.
And you didn't conduct the field sobriety test because you were concerned that the head injury you observed might impact the field sobriety test, right?
It was possible, yes.
So you testified on direct examination, you saw the windshield was smashed and you saw blood, right?
Correct.
There's a chunk of hair in the windshield, right?
Yes.
You take a picture of that?
Yes. Let me backtrack. Sergeant Mercedes actually took a photograph of it.
And most of the time you're talking to Mr. Magoo, he was wearing a hat. You recall that, right?
I don't recall that. You may have been.
So it's dark outside, right? And
Is that a yes? 'Cause I don't think we got it.
Oh, I'm sorry, Your Honor.
It's okay.
Yes, it was.
Okay, go ahead.
and there's a significant amount of blood on his face and it's going into his hair, right?
Correct.
Okay. In this case, you did submit evidence to the crime lab for forensic analysis, right?
Blood test, yes, blood sample.
Right. So no hair follicles, right?
No.
And there was no attempt to obtain any forensic match between the hair or the blood that was found in the car with any hair or blood from Mr. Magoo's body, was there?
You're correct, there was not.
Okay. On direct examination, you talked about field sobriety tests. You said you're trained in the administration of field sobriety tests, right?
Yes.
And you forewent the field sobriety tests in this case, but no one asked him at all to perform those field sobriety tests, did they?
That's correct.
And after this initial interaction, when, you know, the ambulance arrives, he goes to Trinity Ann Arbor Hospital, right?
Correct.
And did you accompany him in the ambulance or you follow behind?
All the time.
Okay. And you read him his chemical rights at the hospital while he's in the bed, correct?
Correct.
And he refused at 2:51 a.m. Is
That's
that?
correct.
And after he refuses, you leave the room to go and work on the affidavit for the search warrant, right?
Correct.
And then Mr. Magoo vanishes.
That is also.
Okay. You didn't see him leave.
I did not.
You had no idea where he was.
Nope.
And like you said, he wasn't handcuffed or in any way restrained to that bed, was he?
He was not.
And there were no officers standing at the door or otherwise supervising that room, were there?
No.
And through your investigation, you determined he's located at an apartment complex at around 3:40 a.m. Is that right?
That's what is in the report. I think I listed a time in there. If you want me to look at, refresh my memory,
It would refresh your recollection to look at your report?
it will.
Okay.
Yes, I did. He was located about 3:40 a.m.
Okay. And he's returned to the hospital. The blood draw was completed at 4:28 a.m. And of course, there's two blood draws done. So it's 4:28 a.m. and 4:29 a.m. Does that sound right, officer?
That sounds correct.
Okay. So in an ideal OWI investigation, you want to have eyes on the subject from the time you make the scene until the needle enters the arm, right?
I do, yes.
Okay. One of the reasons you do that is to make sure the subject doesn't consume anything that could impact the blood test, right?
That is correct.
And Mr. Magoo was unaccounted for nearly an hour in this case, right?
That's correct.
And in your search warrant affidavit, you didn't mention that, did you?
I don't believe so, no.
Thank you for answering my questions, Your Honor. I have nothing further at this time.